Side Scrollers is brought to you by you. If you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/sidescrollers. It's time for Side Scrollers on YouTube.com with me, Stuttering Craig. I like movies that have sand in them. Wow.
He doesn't like it in his mouth.
And producer extraordinaire, Travis Key.
I don't like the texture in my mouth.
What? And brought to you by you, the G2 community at patreon.com/sidescrollers. And now, broadcasting from our homes, it's time for the #1 gaming and entertainment podcast on planet Earth. It's time for Side Scrollers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome on out to Side Scrollers on YouTube.com and Rumble.com and Twitch and Spotify and everywhere else on God's green earth. What's going on, everybody? Hi, happy Thursday to you. I'm Stuttering Craig, coming to you live from Dallas, Texas, home of the world champion, Texas Rangers. Let's go, boys. How great was that? Oh, my God. Hello, Blabs. Great to see you.
Are you talking about football?
Shut up. Dan, what sport am I talking about?
Fake football, right?
No. Baseball.
Oh.
Okay. Well, then it's fake football because it's not football.
Are you talking about American football or like actual football?
No, by no means.
Okay, you're talking
Every sport that is not football is fake football.
Is he talking about soccer right now?
No. Well,
Rugby?
I don't even understand what's happening.
Just kidding, I am.
Football.
Uh,
I don't know.
Also joining us today, the lovely, the talented, the incredibly much better half. It's Melee K. Hello.
Oh, hello. Well, today's going to be an awesome show, but before we start, I have to ask a question.
Yes.
There's been a question floating around the community a little bit. Blabs might have heard word on this. The Great Pickle War. Where does everyone stand on the Great Pickle War? Do you like pickles or do you hate pickles? This is very important.
Call on.
Fried pickles
like
are
pickles.
supreme.
I'm sorry, real quick, Blabs. What'd you say?
I like pickles.
Okay, just all right. Sounds good. Yes, Kay. Your thoughts on pickles?
I drink pickle juice. That's how I'm a pickle.
I can't deal with this. Lady.
I was gonna
She
defend pickles.
went
I was
too
gonna say
far.
someone doesn't like pickles, but that's
went too
that's
far.
too much. Yeah.
Blabs, put a chat. Put a poll in the
poll?
chat, please. Poll,
Got
please.
it.
Pickles, are they good or not? Let's bring in the much better half, the more lovely James from Melee Games.
I'm now the beautiful one. Hi, everybody. Because I don't drink pickles, I am quite pretty. All sim come for me. There we go. How's it going, chat? I will eat pickles. I won't drink them. Won't drink them. Also, fake football is best ball. Let's go.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Kay, are you ready to attune for your issues?
No, I'm not, because I have a bag of pickle juice right here. So
What's wrong with you?
you can
Are you
pick a
talking
super
about
chat
Final
amount.
Fantasy football?
You get like a 50 or something. I'll drink some of this for you guys.
Whoa!
I'll do it live.
Did you say you do that for a 50?
You guys choose the number. I will start drinking this on stream. Go ahead.
How about
no.
for some big old a big old one hundo?
I don't have to sing. That's great.
You take that. No. Blaz will also sing, and Kay will also shoot all of it. Just
So
straight,
whilst I
straight down the
sing,
gullet.
she has to
try.
drink the
I'll shoot as
entire
much as I
time.
can.
It's gonna be like Willy Wonka, but instead of turning purple, you're gonna turn like salty and green.
Is there a pickle in there?
Yeah, I'm not eating the pickle itself. It tastes like cardboard. Have you had whatever these are called?
No, but what I was saying was maybe you have the juice. You hand the pickle over to James, and James eats it really slowly on stream.
I don't know if I can get away with eating her pickle on stream, but
Do it very seductively.
Oh my God! It's ridiculous.
I'm not in any way, shape, or form affiliated with what is happening with this pickle talk. I just an spectator.
Dan's
You love
ass over here.
pickles. Shut up.
Love it on that gherkin.
I like
Crazy.
pickles, but that's
Say it again.
I love pickles.
But say it into the camera. Say it straight to the camera.
Yeah.
And say it slowly.
Oh,
Look it in the eyes. There you go.
Slowly.
Sing it.
I love pickles. Pickles are the best. Pickles are tasty, and I don't drink the pickle juice. Ta-da.
That was amazing.
You know, it really sounded like you put an overemphasis on the P in pickles. So it's actually sounded like you say, and I don't drink the P.
I thought he was going to start singing.
I
like,
also don't do
Oklahoma.
that. Yes.
Oh my God! There we go. Good stuff. What a great way to start. And by the way, we'll be keeping track of that poll very intensely over the course of the show. Right now, it's a landslide, 70-30. Pickles are people are fans of pickles.
Good.
But that doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna like down the juice there. All right.
It
Okay.
tastes. Has no one had a pickleback before?
Yeah.
You
No,
take a shot of whiskey, you chase it with pickle juice. It's amazing.
She's a pickle extremist. She goes too far even for
Too
me.
much salt.
Straight up derailing the show. It's ridiculous. I don't even know.
Like
what's
your mouth must go like this because it's too much salt.
All right. Let's
And
go.
I'm usually the weird one. I feel better about myself today. Thank you.
That's why I'm here.
What's
Let's
Dan
go.
doing?
Kelly.
It's my
Has
mouth
come in.
after I drink
Oh my
pickle
God.
juice.
Kelly has come in with the $50 super chat. Says, hell, he'll know. the
Hell
pickles.
no. You got to snap with it, Craig.
This is heel.
What's his heel? He'll know.
He'll know.
He'll know to pickles. Dan, that's a wonderful pickle song. That's
Thank
good.
you. Thank
I'll
you.
tell you, maybe
Everything
maybe
I'm involved in gets better.
Balls.
There you go.
it's all
You guys
out.
look twice as hot now that you're standing next to me.
Is that because
Finally.
wait.
There you go.
That's really. Does that mean we're elevated or we're brought down? Because
You're
really,
I feel
elevated.
brought down, to be honest, standing next to Dan.
I think
Aren't you
Dan
calling
brings
yourself
us
nobody looks
around
at
to
you
make
when I'm
himself
next
look
to you.
even more
there
handsome.
we go. There we go. There we go, Blabs. Just shut up. No. Hey, Platypunk came into the 2, says, sup? What's up, Platypunk?
Platypunk.
Great to see you.
Sup?
Let's go. Sailor Dream came in, says, Dan Vasquez cool. He wasn't.
Look, I was promoted.
Good for
I
you.
was promoted from gay to cool.
Oh, good.
Celluloid Dream always says Dan Vasquez gay.
I personally don't care about your sexual preference, Dan. Whatever you're into is fine with me. That's cool.
Well,
I
he
think
does love pickles.
Thank you.
that's a good point. And Blake came in and
appreciate
says,
it.
congratulations, New York Rangers, for their Super Bowl ring.
Oh, good for them.
That's a play on hockey and that's a sports
I
thing.
understood that one. New York Rangers is hockey.
And Super Bowl is a what?
Football.
Okay, cool. Way to go. Crazy D came in with 100 bits, says, chaos time with my favorite people, James and Kay. I hope you guys found the candy butt plug. All right.
Oh, God, that's another thing.
Also,
It's
Craig, we're still
November.
needing the gaming police for Doom. It's your turn. Hey there, Dan Vask. Yes, we do. We need to get over there and play some Doom
Oh
sometime.
yeah, now that I'm released my video, whenever you want to do it, let's do it.
He wants
Excellent.
to do it.
Please do.
Excellent.
Doom is the best
Let's
game
do
of
it.
all time ever.
I want to do it with Craig.
You want to do it with me?
Yeah.
Sounds good, Dan.
I feel like I need to
Eating
swap
pickles?
myself so you guys can be next to each other. Yeah, here we go.
No, it's
I want the
better.
There
bromance.
you go.
Oh, my
No, it's
God.
Brown
Okay.
chicken, brown cow.
I will gladly be below these two men. This is perfect.
All right, hang on. Hang on.
There you go. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Exactly where I want to be.
There you go.
This is incredibly flamboyant. Anyway.
Where's
Get outta
Brady
here.
Bunch of
All
all
right.
time.
Blab, you better keep us away from each other.
Okay.
Anna came in with a 5, says, hello to everyone. Just wanted to pop in and say hi. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. We are. Let's freaking go. All right, look, I want to remind everybody we're live over on rumble.com/sidescrolls. Rumble was down today, but it's back
It
up, which is
was.
good. So join us over there if you like free speech and all that stuff. We're live over there, approaching 4,000 followers, so make sure you hit the follow button over there. We also have a Twitter account at SidescrollerPod where you can catch all sorts of fun stuff like clips of the show and announcements whenever we go live, things like that. We also have an Instagram, don't we, Blabs?
We're at 667 followers, and every day there are memes and reels and everything, so come check us out. We're growing like weeds.
667?
Yes.
Oh, mark of the devil. Let's go.
No,
Almost.
that's 666.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yes, almost the number of the beast.
You missed it. It happened
Almost.
before.
We also are live over at kick.com/sidescrollers. If you are sick of the Twitch side of things, you can watch us over on Kick. And if you want to sub over there, that'd be a great thing. We'd really greatly appreciate that.
I spammed the chat of kick with Loba's butt.
Apparently, my mic's going crazy.
Is it?
Sorry.
It sounds okay here.
Not for us.
Okay, well,
It
Yeah,
must
you
be
sound
doing the thing it
beautiful.
did on Friday.
yeah, there has been some StreamYard issues lately.
Sometimes I'm watching your show and there are some audio issues that you guys don't seem to be hearing
Nope.
inside the call.
That's interesting because it must be on the way out. So if there are those issues, know that it's not us and that is strictly StreamYard, which, by the way, if you like to use StreamYard, you can use it. There's a referral link down below. But it
Give
is
them more money so they can fix their issues.
Yeah, it's a great service. We really enjoyed it. You know what also is great is Clemson coming in with a massive 10 gifted memberships. Let's stinking go.
Oh my
Outstanding.
God.
Love that. And we got a couple people to put on the wall today, coming off of the massive Kelly $50 super chat. You're going on the wall, Kelly. Clemson, you're going back on the wall. I'm going to pop you guys on right now. Let's get you going. But yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about today. We just passed. Well, we're approaching 53,000 subscribers over on YouTube right now. I encourage everybody, if you haven't, please hit the subscribe button. I know I'm looking down, but we're currently sitting at 52,645. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We'd love for you guys to join us Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time and watch the clips as they go out. But let's get Kelly on the wall. Kelly Paulson, let's freaking go with a $50 super chat. Kelly, look at it right there.
Look at it.
Balls.
I'm looking at it. Why does he yell at me?
Balls.
Yeah, give us balls.
Balls!
There it is. Love it. The live balls. And then Clemson coming in with the 10 gifted memberships. Clemson comes in with the 10. You're going on the wall, my friend, with that 10. Let's stink and go. Look at it right there.
Look at it.
Awesome. Going straight up on there. We just need.
Look at it.
You're like an evil gremlin.
Look at it. Let's finish this off over here.
We
That
should
wall
totally
is
do a
getting
duet with
massive.
minions and like weird ass gremlin stuff.
Look at it.
Okay, interesting.
I want to see the Shockmaster burst through that wall, dropping his Stormtrooper helmet.
Oh, God, that'd be awesome. God, listen, that's a Blabs.
Yeah?
Is the Shockmaster still alive? I don't think he is.
I think so.
Is he?
I'll find out. Let me
Blabs,
see.
listen.
Only me and Craig know what I'm talking about
What's
right
that?
now.
Okay.
I know
the
what you're
Shock-
saying too.
He's
Okay.
alive. He's alive. He's 67.
Am I
Blabs?
supposed to find
Is
him?
that a person?
Yes. Okay. So
Okay.
it's
Wrestling fans know.
it's one of the best and worst wrestling debuts in history, where this guy was getting repackaged. That's how you like go from one character to another character. And he literally was going to go through a wall as his debut, and he had a sparkly silver spray painted Stormtrooper helmet on,
Yeah.
and he busts through the wall and immediately falls flat on his fucking face, and his hat comes off. He has to put it back on real quick. And there are these wrestlers that are there. It's supposed to be all intimidating, and they're all just laughing their ass off as he tries to, get himself up. It's spectacular. I would love.
You probably
to talk to
cannot
him.
play a clip of that, right?
No.
The-
But I would absolutely love to have the Shockmaster on the show someday to talk to him about his wrestling career and the debut of the Shockmaster.
I shall
I'd
find
be
him.
so
for you.
happy.
Yes, it's the best. Heretic came in with the 2, says, I didn't realize Dan did metal covers. I discovered them the other week. I thought it was only people who loved Halloween. Made me dust off my Keeper of the Sevens vinyl and teach the kids about him. It's usually
Very
Queen they
nice.
deal with. More Halloween. There you go, Heretic. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. I have a ton of Halloween covers, and we mean Halloween band.
Hell.
Yes. But yeah, just released a cover 2 days ago. The Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. Go check it out after the show.
Yes, Heretic did actually say Halloween, not Halloween. My fault.
Yeah.
And
Halloween.
Shaker, who's lost like 20-something pounds, man. Shaker's been killing it. Came in
Nice.
with 66. Says, happy Thursday, everyone. Dan, your cover was absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much. Victor the Guitar Nerd were so autistically accurate in that instrumental that as soon as I uploaded it, it got demonetized because YouTube Content ID thought I just had re-uploaded the original.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Bruce
Already-
Dickinson's coming for you.
Yeah, I already disputed the claim. It's all good, but hey, that's what you get for wanting to work with the best. Victor the Guitar Nerd is one of the best for sure.
Awesome. Rob came in with the 10 10, is that pounds? Is that what it is?
That's
Pounds?
British pounds.
10 British pounds. Thank you so much, Rob. Says, update on Trav next week. Yeah, we gave one yesterday at the tail end of the show, Rob, if you want to go and watch that about an hour and a half into the show, if you want to go and watch that. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right. So with all that said, look, we got a lot to talk about today. Like, we're digging into this thing today because there's a lot to go into. So I encourage you guys, whenever you're like, I got to go. No. Give us like 10 extra minutes today. Just hang with us a little bit longer. Hit the thumbs up button as we try to get to 300 thumbs up. We're already halfway to our goal of 20 memberships. Clemson came in on 10. So let's get that extra 10 right here. Let's have a great effing show. We're going to be talking about this Sweet Baby Inc. company. We're going to talk about HBO arguing with fans. We're talking about Bungie employees giving you the rundown of stuff of after they were fired. We're going to talk about how Twitch is scary as shit, and Nic Cage, his Superman cameo, how it wasn't exactly what we all thought it was, which is intriguing. Yes, that's a tease. That's called a tease there, James. Let's get into it. It's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. It's time for Hard News. All right. I had this pulled up. It's from Rolling Stone, but I can't look at it because I don't have an account there. But the long and short of it is, yeah, I can't look at it. News came down yesterday, actually right before we went live. I saw Geeks and Gamers talked about this pretty extensively on G&G Daily. But there was a leaked information about how the HBO executives over at, obviously HBO, wanted the writers who write their shows to kind of go back and forth with people on Twitter and more or less defend their shows using like sock and fake accounts. This came out yesterday, which was pretty amazing. Casey Bloys, who I guess is like this one of the upper echelon CEO over there, says ordered staffers to create fake accounts to fire back at critics, according to text conversations reviewed by Rolling Stone as part of a new lawsuit. So, okay, I got bigger question here, Dan. Do you think this is a regular thing that is just being exposed now and via these lawsuits? Do you think that other entertainment companies are asking their writers and staff to create fake accounts to more or less troll people who disagree with their
absolutely. Do you guys remember the tweet that Gina Carano did a few days ago? It's like that's pretty much it. I believe it's an industry standard. It's an unspoken industry standard by now, because if the last few years have proved something, is that those giants can bleed, those god kings can bleed, and we do have an influence over the, like, people like Gary, the guys at Friday Night Tights, Geeks and Gamers, this show, Side Scrollers, Craig. We actually do have an influence in how those companies are seen by the public, because we are here directly with the public. We are here directly with people. People trust us. They take us seriously, and of course they're gonna take that into account, and of course they're gonna take some sort of measure, take some sort of action to deal with that. So I think it's obvious that's been happening for a while.
As our friend over Neon from Clownfish TV points out over on Twitter, he says HBO. Let me pull this up so everybody can see this really quick. He said HBO made their employees create fake Twitter accounts to harass and discredit critics. This came out in court documents. This means any Stan account that spends all day being obsessed with critics of a particular franchise could also be a studio sock puppet. So
we've seen those, and we've seen those. Everybody here have seen those, and had some. If you type Star Wars in a tweet, you're gonna deal with some of those accounts.
You know what I think is funny? Remember how I had to go and find all those pro-Disney Star Wars accounts way back in like August or whatever? And a lot of them were like, yeah, come on, sure, I love Star Wars. And then they totally ghosted. What if I was talking to one of those people that was...
They have to ask their employer
You
first.
were. Yes.
I was an employee.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I
it's
find
like
it
4 or 5 of them were the same person.
Right?
Talking to you.
I was hired by HBO.
This is like the funniest thing ever to me, that all these companies are hiring their own Jannies. I mean, they don't do it for free, but it's absolutely amazing to see this. And for me personally, I love getting in the dirt and doing a little trolling. So if you're out there, you paid Jannies for HBO or whatever, you're welcome, because I keep you employed. In fact, HBO is the ones that brought out the Snyder Cut, and I have a constant internet battle with Snyder Bros, Zack Snyder Bros, that did Justice League Snyder Cut. And so now I know why you all defend it. Now I know. I'm actually arguing paid employees. Love it.
Kay,
So
have you ever ran into any of this online? The idea of you're battling with somebody that has like two followers. They're coming in and they're just telling you how much they love Star Wars or they love Harry Potter or whatever. But they have 2 followers and it was recently created in the last like 2 months.
You see that constantly, and you can look and you'll see the same tweet duplicated. They're so lazy. They'll just take the same words and they'll have like 5 or 6 different accounts post the same thing. So absolutely, it doesn't surprise me. They can't live on their own merit of their products. They have to now get people to defend them and to silence people who actually are giving the honest opinion. So this is not remotely shocking to me at all.
Now, just something that needs to be said. Of course, we cannot go crazy with this and just go like, oh, so now every single Disney Star Wars fan is a bot. No, there are weird people out there with blue hair and stuff, and piercings on nose rings, but.
We literally saw it yesterday with pink hair.
Yeah. So, but yeah. It's very enlightening to know about that, because you see some posts that there are like tens of thousands of interactions, and those people are like all anime profile pics that have nothing on their timelines, and it's now like, oh, it makes sense now. It makes sense. But real people out there that like those franchises do exist. We need to not forget that too.
I think that you're very true, but I think the next level of reporting here is, if this happened, we need to find out what specific accounts they were and who specifically was running those accounts. Because if they were created to fire back at critics, then you need to go look at some of these top critics of these HBO shows, go in and see who is very critical of those critics, and then do a little deconstruction as to who this is, which it'll be interesting to see if that comes out in this court case, because that's how this all happened anyways. But yeah, it's amazing, because you saw what you mentioned, Gina Carano, and the aspect of Disney asking her not to follow certain people or don't interact a certain way, blah, 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 because this isn't how we want you to do it. The thumb that is being pressed down on by these executives, on the writing staff, on these actors to act and be a certain way and to fall in line, I guess it's more or less just being exposed for the first time. And it's I'm not going to say it's shocking by any means, but it certainly is exactly what I think we all thought was happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and social media and the relationship between social media and celebrities is kind of a new thing. It's kind of a new problem that companies have to deal with now. So I'm sure those companies are starting to create perhaps social media protocols for the employees and their celebrities that they need to follow. That's totally credible, that they will have like a social media marketing plan to deal with critics and for their own celebrities to follow. Like, don't like that sort of post, don't retweet this, don't follow that sort of account. I'm sure that pretty soon there's going to be written contracts involving that sort of stuff. For, let's say, if you want to act in my movie, if you want to be an actor in my movie, you need to sign that contract that will determine how you will behave in Twitter, in Instagram, that sort of stuff. I think that's a totally credible possibility.
Especially after the whole Snow White fallout, right? Like, they're going to totally wrangle that in. So, like, it already was happening. Gina Carano, I'm sure it's happened even more. But every time an actor goes out of line or says too much, which is funny because the Snow White stuff is kind of more in line with what they do want. She just kind of went too hard on it. But now they're just going to be like, no, you can't say this, can't say this, can't say this, can't say this. And we're going to bring in all these bot people, all these professional Jannies to come in and sweep it up on social media and defend you. So it's just... yeah, a constant 360 battle just to keep everyone happy and positive on their trash that they want to force down your throat. It's wonderful. I love the new world.
When you say Janny, you mean like janitors? Is that what you're?
Yes.
Okay.
They do it for free. Yeah,
Right.
it's an internet term for people that will willingly go on the internet and defend something that's horrible and terrible, and they'll like pretty much moderate stuff that shouldn't be moderated. And so
okay.
it's just like, oh yeah, sweep it up, Janny. But now they're getting paid professionally by companies to do it. So they're not doing it for
I'm
free
hearing
anymore.
that term for the first time.
Oh, I'm glad I can introduce you to Jannies.
It's great.
I never
Jannies.
heard that either. I thought you were saying something else for a second, and I was like, what?
I'm on the
Janitors
internet way
because
too
they're
much.
sweeping out. I got it.
Well, I will say this. I know from experience, since this show has started, there have been big brands in the gaming media space that have told their employees not to interact with us. I know this for a fact because
This is amazing. You know what that means, right?
It means we're making a difference.
They fear you.
Bingo.
You know what that means?
Fucking
I'm
scared.
very
Afraid.
Yes.
It's
it means,
afraid.
It means that we're growing and they're stagnant. And it means that we have a bigger voice and a deeper voice than they did or ever will have. And that they're scared of us. So you know what? Fuck you if you don't want to interact with us. And you know what? We're fine with that. And I've said this before, man. Screw Attack was 100% the counterculture to gaming back then. It was, IGN was the buttoned up suits and everything. And Screw Attack was the backwards hat and the t-shirts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Geeks and Gamers, side scrollers, nerdrotic. We are the counterculture to gaming now. And that's the reality of it is counterculture. The culture has shifted so much that being fucking normal is counterculture. And we're going to get into that a whole lot here in a little bit, which
We are MTV in the 80s. Those guys are CNN.
Hey, Brett came in with the $50 super chat.
Oh!
Says, of course it's an industry standard. It's all confession through projection. They accuse everyone else of doing what they're doing behind the scenes. When they're saying fans are doing X, it's really them doing it. Britt, hey, I want you to do me a favor. Look at it, Britt, right there.
Ah!
Let's
Balls,
go, Britt.
balls,
Go
balls.
wall. Let's go.
Balls.
Look at it. Look at it.
Spill that
You know,
fucking wall
sometimes
out there.
sometimes I fall asleep listening to Craig, like doing his streams or something, and I'm nice and sleep, and I'm
Out of
I'm at
nowhere.
peace.
Look at it.
Exactly. I wake up and I'm like, ah. I think
Where am I
haunted
Definitely
me.
happened more than once.
Yeah.
I don't know what it says about me, you falling asleep during my streams, but whatever.
there you
know?
go.
Hey, I need to be comforted. It's a beautiful dream that turns into a sweet nightmare. It's
Sweet,
amazing.
sweet nightmare.
It's a comfort stream.
Hey,
Yeah.
Blake came in and says, how many Twitter accounts does Dan have? At least a Brazilian. Ha ha. See,
It's like at
See what
least
you
two,
did
isn't
there.
it?
No,
Good.
I have two. Yeah, and my second one ended up becoming my main because Elon Musk won't let me back. Actually, I'm stuck on that part when you need to check the box that I broke the rules and I'm a hateful criminal,
Oh yeah.
but I'm not checking that box because of course I won't.
Yeah, you're
You
admitting
get that on a
defeat.
shirt.
Yeah. No, not only am I admitting defeat, in certain countries, that can actually have legal repercussions. Those stupid countries like who have hate crimes and that sort of stuff. Brazil is one of them. So there might actually have actual legal repercussions for me checking that box.
Well, don't
Confessing
check.
that
Don't
that I'm a hateful criminal that commits acts of hate
don't you do it,
against
Dan.
minorities.
Don't you do it. Don't you
No.
don't you click that box.
I
Don't
think
click the box.
I think my second account is already bigger than
Good
my
for
main,
you.
so who cares? It's just a stupid handle. It's Dan Vast 2.
Idiots. Hey, TAB came in with a 10, says, hey, I enjoy this podcast. Please take some money. You know who will gladly accept that?
Me.
All of us. Yeah, we will.
Yes.
We appreciate it. Thanks, TAB. Appreciate that.
I'm gonna end the poll. We're at 525 votes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Are
my
pickles
god.
good? The votes are in. 72% said yes. 20%
Yes!
said
Pickle
no.
gang, let's go!
Another win for the Pickle Army.
Another
Oh
Pickle
my
victory.
God.
It's too strong, man. Too strong. The damn pickles. Well, I guess now we know.
I like pickles. So it's
Pickle
ridiculous.
Army.
All right, look, we got a lot to talk about today. We're already 30 minutes in, so let's talk about this one just real quick. We talked about the Bungie firings in the last couple days, and there was an employee who came out and they tweeted out some things that they were told on the way out, and they were very vague but I wanted to kind of go over these. These were pointed out by Blabs over here. But this is from Ash. Ash is a former employee, is a trans sober gamer Swiftie whose opinions are our own, former marathon marketing manager at Bungie. So that just to give you a point of reference. So
They fired a trans person?
how bigoted can you possibly be? It's a
Cancel
good point.
Bungie.
It's ridiculous. I want to say Ash came in, says, this morning, Bungie let me go. I don't have bad things to say about Bungie as a whole. But before I left, here are some things I was told. Number one, people from Microsoft tend to do poorly at Bungie because they are generalist and not specialist. Two, I didn't want to tell you, I didn't want to tell you to stop talking about Taylor Swift, but you need to talk about Marathon the same way.
Oh my God.
What?
So this person was at their job nonstop talking about T-Swizzle, and it's like, please, sir, madame, talk about the video game you're working on. Stop talking about the T-Swizzle.
Over this person.
Like if you just and by the way, once again, in it actually does say Swiftie. Like, so clearly big fan of Taylor Swift, so much so that it's taking over the employment opportunities. 3, to have a meaningful career development, you likely have to choose between work and being present with your family. And that's the third one. So I met some truly amazing leaders and peers at Bungie and some lifelong friends. But as a trans person, ... I'm likely leaving the game industry and never looking back.
Never to return.
So also
what does that have to do with being a trans person?
Absolutely fucking nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Allow me to answer that in one swift sentence.
As a trans person, it's like,
well,
are you?
and here's the finger point at the end. Also, in hundreds of applicants for the role, how come the only 4 people that made it through were white guys with decorated resumes? All similar, of course. I don't know, just thinking out loud. Well, allow me to answer that question, Ash, in one sentence, just like I did before. Because they were more qualified. Because they had decorated resumes based off of a very similar criteria that they look for. Why were they all fired? Because they were all similar and decorated and awesome. Because that's why they were hired. Not because they were looking for diversity. Or maybe they were. Who knows? Who the hell knows? Maybe we'll get on to
This is
one.
Bungie.
Okay,
so they most likely were looking for everything they could to bring up somebody else, because Bungie, I mean, I used to love Bungie. They made my favorite game of all time, Halo 3. But my God, if you've been following Destiny and Bungie, they have gone very much down that rabbit hole to the point where I can't even look at them anymore. So, yeah.
As a Brazilian,
yes,
I agree.
Dan, what's your thoughts as a Brazilian?
As a Brazilian, I completely agree. And that sentence is infinitely more important because I said as a Brazilian first.
Oh, good point. Excellent.
So,
yeah. Well, when they say decorated resume, like, once again, I don't. Ash says decorated resume. Are we talking? The way I saw it was they had a lot of things on their resume which were very, very. When you say a decorated soldier, it means they have a lot of accomplishments, right? Or did Ash mean like they put flowers and sprinkles and stuff on their actual? Did they actually decorate their resume?
Pronouns.
Yes, these are all things that we just don't know. And
pronouns all over.
So let me. And somebody responded down below, which was pretty funny. Let me pull this exact tweet up because it says probably because. Sorry, this is great. This person responds, probably because you sat around and did nothing, and were entitled to your job while being lazy. They looked at your performance reports and figured they could probably hire someone else to do your job better. Hopefully, the next devs they hire won't be as lazy and will actually care. And she just responded, Ash just responded with, "You okay?" Right? And that's
okay.
This is what Swifties do always, though. They reply with these gifs. They go, "Oh no, sis, what do you mean?"
They're the
but
worst.
It's like Bungie's stupid, don't get me wrong, but companies are interested in making money. They won't fire you if keeping you there means making more money. They will fire you if firing you means making more money.
Well,
So
that's false because Gina Carano was making Disney money and then they sacked her. Now they're making less.
well,
money,
of
'cause
course
no
there
one
are
cares about
of
Disney.
course there
But
are
my-
exceptions.
But
But
that's
my
what
point,
companies can
my
still
point
be
is
out of
that
HUD.
my point is that this is obviously ex-employee talk. Of course, he's not going to come out of the company talking wonderful things about them, and that's what's to be expected from him.
I think the thing that the last point in here, the third bullet point is that to have a meaningful career development, you likely have to choose between work and being present with your family. I'm just going to go out on a limb and just say no fucking shit, right? If you want to advance in a company, chances are you're going to have to sacrifice in some way, shape, or form. That's just the reality of it. Because guess what? We live in a capitalistic society, and you know what? That's a fucking great thing. If you want to succeed, you got to put the time in. You got to scratch, you got to claw, and you got to work your way up. Because guess what? If you're not, somebody else will. That's the reality of the situation, and that's what these people are having a hard time grasping. So you mean I may not be able to make it to a kid's birthday party that my kid's going to or something? Okay, that's fine. Like I am a big proponent that family should be first, 100% of the time. I believe that. But don't complain that your career is suffering because you wanted to go to the fucking Scooby-Doo roller rink with your kid at 3:00 on a Tuesday versus getting the job done. Like don't complain about that shit. Everybody has choices. You made your choice. Don't complain about it on the way out. Sorry.
That's it. I can totally see that happening. The guy's like, he wants to leave in the middle of work hours. Hey, I want to go to a movie with my kids. It's like, no, you need to work. But my family.
This is the exact same people with like Twitter when they had all these different things, all the lunches, massages, and all that, and then they all got laid off because they weren't actually doing their job and they were crying.
Was it
and all
90%? 90% of the staff?
Massive layoffs in Twitter.
It's like most people in your company are useless.
Yeah.
They realize that.
And then there was that group photo, and it was all like dudes looking really, really nerdy, obviously, because
sweaty.
That's what you need.
Yeah, all greasy and full of acne, and they.
Those look at that guy. Work.
Yeah, you look at that guy and say that guy can do anything in a computer.
Mm-hmm.
You look at anybody who's at any smidgen of success, and they will tell you they had to sacrifice something in ways, whether it is family, whether it is time playing video games, whether it is their hobby. They have to be great. You have to sacrifice. That's the reality of the situation, which these people don't understand. So I'm going to slap that shit to half court. That to have a meaningful career development, you have to choose between working and being present for your family. Yeah, no fucking shit, idiot. Sorry.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to realize that it's actually a cool dichotomy that you need to balance. You need to keep both of those up. It's like, I want to be good at my job and dedicate myself to the people that give me the opportunity to put bread on my table because of my love for my family. And I also want to be there as an employer. I want my employees to be there for their families because that's what will make them happy. And happy employees tend to be better at their jobs, tend to be good at what they do if they're doing it happily and satisfied. So it's a dichotomy.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're muted.
Oh, you're muted, Craig.
Sorry.
There you go.
Sorry, I was drinking my drink, and I don't like to slurp on this and the
It's
microphone.
very much ASMR when he does that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's what I'm there for.
Dan, stop it. You're turning me on. Hey, listen, I need everyone to shut up because Jason came in with a $50 direct donation. Says, glad to see Melee Games crew on the show today. Let's go, Jason. Look at it. Look at it.
Hell yeah, Jason.
Jason's the freaking best, man.
He's
I
amazing.
need a balls from Kay, a really big one. From the
What?
soul.
Balls.
You had a big ball.
Under the skateboard, we are now going under the skateboard because
Oh my
Insidious
God.
Bliss has come in with a $50 Rumble rant.
Mm-hmm.
Says, I cannot give higher praise to Melee Games for what they are doing to bring fun back to gaming. Everyone
Thank
except
you.
Mace Windu fans.
Nah!
Everyone except Mace Windu fans owes it themselves to check out their channel. Let's freaking go.
I'm
Mace
a
Windu.
Mace Windu
Next
hater.
year?
I
Oh.
hate Mace Windu like a lot.
You guys are the
so-
freaking best.
Look at it!
Is it because he loses his hand?
We
No,
we
that's
have a
the best
lot of
part.
rivalries going on, folks. We have a lot of rivalries. Our boy Nerdy Neo loves Mace Windu, and Kay has been bullying him and fighting him over that. I don't like Mace Windu because I don't want Samuel Jackson. Every time I see him, I just see Samuel Jackson. So I love when he gets thrown out that freaking window and is
Yes,
just
yeah.
a
The
corpse.
real
and a-
hero
tweet
is the
Coruscant.
window.
Exactly.
Have you
That's
guys
the
seen that
real
video
Sith
where
Lord.
they mix scenes from, I think it's Pulp Fiction with Episode 2, Star Wars Episode
No,
2,
I've
and
seen it with
Mace
Grease
Windu's
and
like,
Pulp
"Shut
Fiction."
the fuck up, young Skywalker."
That was going to be
Greg
the
has
final
no idea
George
what's
Lucas
going on.
edit.
He's like,
That was going to be
"What?"
the final edit, but then Disney took over.
Yes.
I have a Rumble rant to read from Cryptic for $5. Breading pickles makes them last much longer than fresh cucumbers, but packing them in an airtight container. So that's what really seals the deal.
Aha!
Taking
Dude,
notes.
it's the deal.
Taking notes.
Love that. Thank you, Cryptic. Goes nowhere, does nothing. Says, I would love to interact with you in any way that I can. One goal is to one day either be on your channels or have you on mine. Oh, well, awesome. Well, send us a link to your stuff, man, and maybe you can come on. Thank you
But
very
he goes
much.
nowhere and does nothing.
That's true. We look for people who are upstarters and really excited to be a part of this.
They're
Ooh,
great
ooh.
dudes. We've been on
Yeah,
their
they're
channel,
great.
and we're going to be on their channel this Saturday. So yeah, awesome
go.
guys there.
We have a kick sub from Cream Nando. I can see them. Thanks, Cream
go.
Nando, for subscribing.
Love that. That's awesome. We love those.
I'm gonna spam the chat with a Loba booty. Oh, I exceeded my right.
Damn you. All right. Lover of Green came in with a $20 super chat. Says, Hail, Craig. Have you met Jim Sterling? Yes, I have. I met Jim many times. He was a great video game pundit, anti-microtransactions, anti-corporate. Later, he went full woke, and his videos came unbearable. Really sad fall, but not all surprising. Yes. Isn't
He's
it?
not Jim anymore.
Yeah. Is it? It's something else now. What is he?
I don't
Something
remember. Yeah, Lady Sterling
Jim-
now.
Jim has always been a really, I would say, a free thinker. Very eccentric, I guess is the best way to put it. Very eccentric ever since the first time I met Jim Sterling, which I guess I'll say I met Jim Sterling because I didn't. That's who I knew. That's who I know. I don't know whatever Jim calls Jimself today. We're now pluralizing Jimself.
Themselves.
Black Bull came in
Jim.
with the 5. Says, Dan Vask, love your version of Danger Zone. I fired it up when I play IL-2 Sturlomivic Battle of Stalingrad. Black Bull, I don't know what game. What
Is
that
that a
game is.
game? Sounds
I'm-
like a badass Russian game some sort.
I'm guessing
But,
this
hey,
dude plays War
nice.
Thunder, and I respect him for that. All War Thunder fans get my respect. Love them.
Hey,
Nice. But hey,
Black-
my metal version of Danger Zone, it was pretty fun to do. Victor the Guitar Nerd also did that.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Black Bull. Megan Lee came in with the 5. Says, been lurking, just wanted to say hi. And Blabs is the best. Oh, look at that.
Hi, Max. See you later.
That can mean a lot of things. Is she the best person? That can
I'm
also
better than
mean
you,
that
Dan. Shut up.
she's the best pile of trash. It can mean a lot
Bully.
of things.
Bully
You're
her.
such a bully.
Man. The Red Man came in too. Says, speaking of balls, Dan covering big balls from AC/DC. Hey.
No, I'm still waiting for freaking Celine Dion cover. It's been over a year, Dan.
Yeah, there are so many great ones. I can do the
You said you were gonna
Titanic.
do one, you
can
didn't
do
do it.
Titanic song.
No, you gotta do the one from Deadpool, and then dress up in a Deadpool outfit and do it.
Want to sing with me? Want to sing the prayer with me? Celine Dion and Andrea Bocelli.
I don't think this would be a very good idea
That'd be
for Blabs
great.
to be
I'm
singing.
not singing it unless you want me to do the Gollum voice, and then I'll do it.
I think you guys
Imagine
need to do a
Blabs
whole
doing
new
that.
world together. That's what I want to hear from you
Whole new
two.
world.
Dress up and all.
Yeah,
There you go.
All right, she's out. Mary Jane came in with the $99.99 super chat. Let's freaking go, Mary Jane. Says, that's the key in everything. Love whatever we do, things in life. That's right. That's right, Mary Jane. With the $99.99. Hey, that's purple. We need to fill out that purple. We got a row back here. I want everyone to look at it right there, Mary Jane.
Look at it.
I'm looking, Craig.
I'm looking.
You looking?
I'm looking.
Look at it.
I see it. It's Mary Jane.
You looking right there. Look at it right
Look
there.
at it.
And the best Mary Jane, much better than the Spider-Man 2 on PS5 Mary Jane.
Yes.
Best.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
go.
what?
Let's
Dude,
go. Show
that-
me them purples in the chat. That's outstanding.
Mary Jane looks like a monkey's armpit.
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to get into this nonsense? Because
Always.
I need everybody right now to do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button because we're about to go batshit crazy on this. Like, this is going to be a while. And I know we usually go like 45 minutes, and Dan, if you need to go, you need to go. But we're digging into this shit, okay?
I'm good.
He's wearing a diaper. He's fine.
Good,
Yes.
good. Labs, you wearing a diaper?
Nope.
Okay, well, you better get one on because we're going hard. Okay, this was out on the Twitters the other day, and I want to preface all this by saying that I learned about this through the G2 community, specifically Dude over on Rumble. Sent me a message of y'all's video talking about this. And as we dug into this a little bit deeper, which I like to do, this got more and more insane. And we were talking about a company called Sweet Baby Inc. Sweet Baby Inc. is a consulting company out of Canada. And all of these major game companies, all these major games that have been developed over the last few years, a lot of them have gone through this company for various sorts of consultations, whether it's been through story, whether it's been through diversity. There's been a number of different ways that this company is used, and they launched in 2000. They say 2018, but it's more 2019. And you want to know why some of the games have taken a turn? This company has the reticle clearly on it. So, James, I'm going to allow you to take it from here, and let's actually start with the original Twitter post that kind of called all this out. So, I'm going to allow you to kind of talk us through this.
Yeah, no, and Craig, thank you for bringing attention to this. This has been freaking wild. We talked about this last Thursday, and there's just not enough people talking about it. For me, in my opinion, this should be the biggest gaming news going on right now. This is explosive. So pretty much Craig summarized it well. Sweet Baby Inc. is a company that has been around since 2018, but the people within the company have been impacting games in this way for much longer. I think the earliest we could find was Far Cry 4, which I believe was 2014. And effectively what Sweet Baby is, on paper, it sounds like innocent enough, but they're a consulting company that video game developers and publishers can go to be like, hey, we need writing tips. We need you to complete writing and all this stuff. Can we outsource the writing to you? And they go and they will write anything. On their own website, they say they'll handle anything from indie all the way to AAA. And it doesn't matter what the game is. It doesn't matter what the design is, anything. They will take on any game. And why will they take on any game? Because for this company, I hate to say it, it's more about putting their agenda and what they want to turn the industry into rather than love and care for the game itself. So it doesn't matter if you're a horror game, doesn't matter if you're an indie game, doesn't matter if you're a romance game, nothing. They're just like, oh, we'll write it. But while we're writing it, we're going to force X, Y, and Z, everything that you've seen. The big thing for me is I thought I was going crazy the past 10 years, and I am crazy. But I thought that like all these companies were hiring individual writers. Like it was just how society was going. This is the games that people are writing now. They were just hiring like hundreds of people, just wanted to write these kind of agenda-filled stories. Turns out I was kind of wrong, and laziness actually won. And it's developers and publishers going to Sweet Baby and being like, you handle it. So, folks, I just want to say to you, do you feel like your games have been written by the exact same person? Turns out they have been written by the exact same person. Doesn't matter if it's an Xbox game, a PC game, a PlayStation game. These companies have written Spider-Man 2 recently, which, if you know, Spider-Man 2 has had a lot of issues in this regard. And then recently, Alan Wake 2. They've worked with Xbox, Valve, EA, Ubisoft. Pretty much, if you look at their affiliates or like who they worked with, they cover like an insane large number of the industry. So, yeah, I think this is huge, and more people are should be focusing on it. There you go. You can see Xbox, EA, Valve, Santa Monica, which is the recent God of War, which we all know about. Warner Brothers covers so many companies. This website used to say Rocksteady, which was Batman. Now they just do all-encompassing everything under Warner Brothers. Oh, there is Rocksteady, but yeah. And it goes all the way back to Polytron. Polytron, which all you old heads in the chat will know is Fez and made by Phil Fish. So this has been going on for a long time. And yeah, it's been freaking crazy. And if you talk about it, here's the thing. They want good attention. If you talk about it on Twitter, they will block you. I did one tweet saying, I am just bookmarking. There's our tweet. All I said was this, because I didn't want to talk about it because it is pretty political. All I said is following them just so I know what games not to play. They blocked me. And then our buddies Kendon in the chat, he got blocked just for liking this tweet. And then we had another buddy in there that said, who the heck is Sweet Baby? And then they replied immediately after going, never mind, I'm blocked. So these guys hate being noticed. They hate spotlights. They hate shining a light on them. They just want to appeal to all the corporations and all the lazy developers being like, oh yeah, we'll take care of your game for you. We're going to make it. You don't have to worry about anything. Wipe your hands away. But meanwhile, they're writing in all this stuff. Under Alan Wake on their website, it lists sensitivity as that's something they had to put in. Alan Wake, which I'm a huge fan of Alan Wake. I have the collector's edition. I have no interest in the sequel anymore, amongst many other games.
So on the surface, you see a tweet and you're like, oh, well, that's, you kind of consume the headline and you kind of go. But I wanted to dig a little bit deeper on this today. And we have dug a little deeper. And credit to James and Kay for digging a little deeper with me. But if you go through their social accounts, you'll see that they've now gone in and they've protected their tweets from anybody. So only approved users can see which, pretty much all social media they protected, including their Instagram. The account's now private. And so they're right now, this is a company that is built around providing a voice to the voiceless, except they don't want to hear anything counter to what they have to say, right? And once again, it goes back into the bubble aspect of things. They want to be shielded off from the real world. But we went in and there was a video that was actually an interview from just about a month ago, which I wanted to dig into today. This was from a YouTube channel called Indie Games Business. And they did an interview or a segment where they allowed the CEO and the COO of Sweet Baby Inc. to kind of share their story. Because by the way, for full transparency, I reached out through their contact link. I wanted to ask them if they'd like to be on the show and talk about maybe some of the misconceptions about their brand and the missions that they have. And I actually couldn't use their contact link because there was an error that kept going through. So they are 100% invited to come on the show and talk about maybe some of the misconceptions that we have about what they're doing. Because I want to make sure that everybody has a fair share. I don't think it's fair for us to, kind of rail on these companies, but I do think it's important to hear their perspective, which is why we went into this video and listened to their own words about their company. So I think this is a good place to start right here as we go in and we talk about kind of the origins of their company. And this is the talking specifically about the sensitivity consultations that they have and some of the services that they offer. So we'll go to watch a little bit of this and we'll kind of stop and pop in and keep going in a minute. So here we go. Take a listen to this.
The next one we'll go over a lot as we go through this presentation, but we obviously have a very diverse team who's super talented. We do a lot of work to do some sensitivity consultations, some representation consultations, some cultural consultation, with the complete aim being trying to give as much perspectives as possible to each game team as to the subject matter they're representing, and trying to give a voice to these consultants.
Okay, so there's a lot in there, what he just said. And if you're not listening, it just sounds like generic COO speak, right? But I want you to pay attention to the last sentence that he said, keeping in mind that this is a generic white guy named David who is in here fighting for diversity for people and providing. And once again, listen to this last sentence here. This is actually really important. Yes.
Real quick, for the benefit of the audience and my own too, what is the function of a COO?
The COO is a chief operating officer. They
Right.
make sure they're the ones who make sure that people are doing the things they need to be doing. The executive boss of the CEO traditionally is the person who is making executive decisions, steering the company. They're the captain of the ship. And the COO is the one making sure all the people are doing the necessary things, more or
Okay.
less. I think that's a best way to put it. Okay.
Right.
So go once again, listen to this last sentence here.
To the subject matter they're representing. Give as much perspectives as possible to each game team as to the subject matter they're representing, and trying to give a voice to these consultants.
Okay. So what he just said right there was, we want to give a voice to the consultants. And once again, on the surface, that sounds very generic. But once again, all of the consultants on their company, they have this quote unquote diverse, very well represented company. So what they're saying is they want to give a voice to the people who work for them to then put into these games. That's what they're saying in that sentence right there, which once again pushes a narrative. This is a thing that individual people have individual thoughts. If I'm a blind black lesbian, I have a certain worldview. Well, I guess not really a worldview. I'm blind, but
Oh, God.
but
You do the deaf black lesbian
Wow.
like Spider-Man 2.
yeah, if I'm a
Oh.
deaf black lesbian from the inner city, right? Which, by the way, this company worked on Spider-Man 2, right? So may have been
They
the
thought that was
opportunity.
a great idea. Probably those people that were like, "Oh my god, a deaf black lesbian." Yeah, they
Spray
thought it was
painting.
great. They were
Now-
like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, the
Top
world
tier.
needs this."
Now, to be clear, we cannot confirm that Sweet Baby Inc. was the one who pushed for that narrative, the idea
Right.
of the inner city black deaf girls doing spray paint, right? We don't know that, right? And once again, I don't really care, whatever. But I just think you're limiting your market. But let's go to continue here.
Publicly for
So
Spider-Man
that
2,
it's
they
not-
just list story consultation is officially.
Right.
So everything they do is very vague and broad and kind of all-encompassing.
Okay, let's continue.
Looking at a list of red flags of like, oh, make sure you don't offend this, and
I think it's important that we listen to this. This is how they don't want to do it.
a list of to these consultants, so that it's not looking at a list of red flags of like, oh, make sure you don't offend this and do this badly. It's more, okay, this is what you could be doing if you leaned into this identity, if you leaned into this to this inspiration, and for people of these backgrounds, of these identities, this is the kind of stuff that they would like to see, and that they would like to. This is how they would like to see themselves represented on screen in a game, and they've never seen it before.
Okay.
Cringe.
So what he's saying is, well, I'll tell you, you know what, Kate, what do you think he was saying there?
He's pretty much saying, we won't go in and be like, oh, this is a red flag. You can't say this. This will offend people. You instead have these people consult and say, hey, this is actually the direction you should go in. This is the better way to go. Go do this. This is how people want to be represented.
Right. And not people, by the way, this select small group of people.
Protected
That represent
group.
everyone of color.
Right. It's good. Continue.
And so that
Because they say a sentence here which nails it.
that kind of forms our thesis for the company, that like representation is a form of innovation. And
Okay, there it is. Bingo. Let's listen to this one more time.
this is how they would like to see themselves represented on screen in a game, and they've never seen it before. And so that kind of forms our thesis for the company, that like representation is a form of innovation, and that it is one of the greatest sort of blue sky approaches to innovation that people aren't really thinking about right now.
Okay, man, I got a lot to unpack on there, because I am listening to everything he has to say, and I've heard a lot of corporate bullshit speak before in the past, right? Their entire thesis for their business, their entire tagline is representation is a form of innovation, right? First off, they just picked two words that rhyme, and they thought it sounded good. Like somebody says that and they go, oh, that makes a great mission statement for our company. But the reality of that statement is that it doesn't mean jack shit. What they're saying is that, and when he said this is a blue sky approach, that means just like a blue sky approach just means an outside of the box thinking. Okay. So he's saying putting representation into video games is an outside of the box thinking, which their entire company is built around. What fucking world is this guy living in? Because it's all over the place in the video game space. What innovation do you receive by having representation? Like that's the dumbest way of thinking I've ever heard in my life. It's stunning and incredibly brave of them to think. I'll open it up to you guys.
Yeah, everybody else is doing it, so we're innovating. But James, I'm curious. I saw on that list of clients something that made me very sad. Square Enix, is that right?
Yeah, and so even like on the Japan side of things, they're starting to
that's
go
what I
after
was gonna
this as
say,
well.
because I have been completely divorced from modern games from about 2 years, except Japanese games. So do you think this is coming for the Japanese market as well, or Square Enix is a one-off thing?
Yeah, I think the way that they're advertising this is they're trying to make this sound like an idealized thing. They're trying to push companies into saying this is what you want. And so lazy publishers and developers are like, oh, we don't have to hire a writer anymore. We're just going to outsource to this guy. The way video game writing used to go in a lot of cases, and it's especially true for Japan, is you kind of create the game design and you create the mechanics about it, because games ultimately are supposed to be about fun. And then you hire a writer to come into the company. So I actually studied video game writing. That's what I wanted to do originally. And so it's more like you're a writer in a different field, and then you get contracted in to write about something you know. If they're making a comic book video game, they're going to hire comic book writers. Not anymore. Sweet Baby is changing that. And so they're trying to appeal to everyone. Doesn't matter what you're writing, just let us take care of it and we'll take care of you. So we've seen this a little bit with Japanese companies, and Kay is a big Japanese fan. I've always been a Western developed guy, which is why I've been miserable for the past decade or so. But yeah, now going for Square Enix and all these companies, I think there's a lot of companies in Japan that are like, why are the Americans always screaming and crying on Twitter at us? Maybe we should hire these guys to take care of some of our writing. And then they're in for a rude awakening.
For localization efforts,
which Nintendo has been doing for a long time. So anytime that Nintendo's had an issue in this regard, it's actually been because of a company called Nintendo Treehouse. So Nintendo, the Japanese versions are fine, and a lot of Fire Emblem fans know this, but Treehouse gets a hold of it, the localization team, and then suddenly they're putting in all this garbage into the game. And it's like I've noticed Nintendo fans don't even blame Nintendo. It's this one section of Nintendo called Treehouse that do the localization. Mm-hmm. So Nintendo already has their own.
It's not as bad as a full-on Western games, right?
Yeah.
Out of where? And this is important. Where's Treehouse located?
Let me pull that.
Seattle.
Washington?
Seattle.
Oh, there you
Seattle,
go.
Washington.
I feel like it's Seattle, yeah.
And how many, like Seattle, Portland, any West Coast city, San Francisco, LA, these are fucking bubbles that these people live in. And these are small portions of society that are putting a very crazy ideology attached to this. I think it's important, though. They talk about their company's origin, and I think the origin of this company really tells you a lot. So let's go back to this video here, and let me show you kind of the background here. And because I have so many questions. Let's continue this.
I'm going to give you, the origin story. I'll give it from my own perspective. Is that I started out in the industry in 2013, and being a Black woman in the industry.
There it is. Immediately, like came in with the victim mentality. All right, here we go.
Being a marginalized person in these spaces has not always been easy. In fact, it's been downright abusive at times.
How? Yeah. Provide me examples. Tell me how. Tell me who did it.
Looked at me funny.
Tell me how.
Statement. Yeah.
Throw this. Yeah, right. Tell me how. Tell me who. And let's get rid of them. Get rid of those fucking idiots. Right. Yeah. If these people are creating,
they don't want to. They don't want to get rid of them, Craig, because otherwise you lose that card.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is where they make their money. This is where they get elevated because they can complain about this stuff.
If you fix the issue, you lose the strawman.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Dan, I want to mention, because you're worried about Square Enix, reminder that Square Enix made Forspoken, And if you know anything about the game Forspoken, that was obviously
right.
where a Sweet Baby came into play, because that game was just riddled with this stuff. It was like a Japanese game that looked like it was kind of tainted by the West, and it was insufferable. So, and it was a
Yes.
complete failure. So there's your connection.
I don't.
Were they
I don't play
also-
I don't play Square Enix games for a long time, precisely because of that. Because I felt that it's starting to look westernized. But
And who's responsible?
I think I'm under the impression. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm under the impression that Japan is a little bit more distant from all that. It's starting to happen. It's like Japan is starting to go through 2014 just now. Would you say that's correct?
There seems to be a split. I know Sakurai recently said that, I'm paraphrasing here, apologies, but he pretty much said that like the West can't handle stuff, and they're aware of that. And it's like, everyone loves and respects Sakurai. He's the head of Smash Brothers, so they're aware. They're aware of the West being a bunch of babies that can't handle their games.
Fucking children, yeah. All right, let's continue with this video, because there's a lot here.
Has not always been easy. In fact, it's been downright abusive at times. And I'm sure that no one in this room is surprised to hear that. But there is so much abuse, so much toxicity, so much awfulness in the industry, and that was how I kind of came through it for the first several years of my career.
Okay, it's so bad. There's so much toxicity. It's such a pressure cooker. There's so much misogyny and racism and toxicity and pressure in this industry. These are their own words right here on it. It's so bad that they wanted to make an entire business around this.
Yeah,
to make an entire business
profit off it
and stay in it.
Yeah,
it's so fucking bad.
Crazy, because she's literally saying, everyone in this room has experienced it. It's literally her and one other dude.
Well,
what experience? How many other people are there?
Now, to be clear, there was one guy who opened up the conversation, who was the first guy, right? There was this guy at the start.
So 3 people. Ooh.
And there was one other person in the chat.
Oh, all right. So that's a whole lot of experience right there in a massive industry. 3 people.
And here's the thing is, a lot of people have been noticing this as early as 2013, 2014. A lot of people were talking about it on the internet, but it's been a number of years. That's like a decade ago now. So now all these people have weaseled their way into the industry. They've created their own companies and everything, and they're transforming it. So what was originally being just talked about and we were disagreeing with, it's like, if you notice it went quiet, it's because they're getting the work done. And so it's just ridiculous to see, and it's just going to keep getting worse.
Let's go continue here.
And that was how I kind of came through it for the first several years of my career. But at the same time, what I want to say is that I learned a tremendous amount. I first started it for 5 years in AAA. I worked on Assassin's Creed, on Far Cry, on a couple of games at Ubisoft. And that was tough. I've talked about that very publicly. I've talked about that in a number of forums. And the thing that always gets me is that while it was hard and dealing with all of that stuff is always difficult, it was also hugely informative. And it was beautiful still to work with teams of creative to make something that matters to us and to get something out in the world and experience it. The joy of making games and telling stories is something that for me has not been in any way separable from the experience of how we make them. And
okay, we'll go stop there. It continues in a little bit, and I think this really puts, for me, as I was listening to this, they talk about their oh, you know what? I'm sorry. There's more here. There is more here, and it's important that we talk about this. Listen, let me make sure we're here. I want to make sure this is pulled up, and it goes back to the original statement that we had here about. Oh, here. Okay, this is it. Here, let me pull this up. Talk specifically about the phrase "representation is a form of innovation," because once again, that is the baseline of their entire company. So I want to play this right here as well.
I put this presentation together with help from
This is in 2019.
David, and it was called Representation as Innovation. And what that meant was essentially I was very tired, I'm still tired of the way that we treat sensitivity and inclusion as kind of aside from development. We go okay, well, hey, can you read this story and tell me if it's offensive to X, Y, or Z group? And for me, when I read a story, I'm not going well, this story is just magically offensive. It's something in the story is making this offensive. Something in the story is not ringing true. And often what it is for me is that, like, speaking as a marginalized person, it's not that I'm looking at a portrayal of myself and going, oh, that's offensive, I can't see it. It's creating instead narrative dissonance where I'm looking at this and I'm going, that's not me. That's not real. And so I wanted to start thinking about diversity not as something that's a nice to have, but as a form of narrative innovation. Seeing.
Okay, once again, what the fuck does that mean?
The cringe, man. It's
Speaking-
like
It's insane because she's saying that's not me, therefore I need to change it. But it's like, what about the original intent? What about the actual fans and customers of this game? Do they not matter? What about, you're destroying solidified franchises with this and Spider-Man and all this stuff because you're personally saying, I'm offended. This needs to be changed on my behalf. You see right here, we have Suicide Squad. This breaks my heart. I'm a longtime Batman fan. Kevin Conroy's final performance before he sadly passed away is going to be in Suicide Squad, and now these people have messed with it, and that's absolutely heartbreaking.
Well, as pointed out in the chat, man, the narcissism attached to this.
Yeah.
The clear, as a marginalized person, what a narcissist. Oh my god.
It's not enough just a nod to our agenda, to our ideology. Not enough just a nod. It needs to be built around it. That's basically what she's complaining about.
Mm-hmm.
So
very self-centered. That's what all she is.
It's all about her experience and allowing her company to put on their perspective based on when they're hired by these companies. And for me, she says something in here which is just jaw-dropping. You got to remember, why are they being hired? Why are they being consulted, right? They're being consulted to find out if this offends somebody. And the way she phrases this, she says she looks at it and she doesn't see herself. So then in turn, she's offended by not seeing herself.
Yeah.
That's
she wants
fucked
to
up.
transform the work to include her.
See her. No one else is going to see anyone else now. They're only going to see her because that's all. That's what she wants. It's going to be very, very specific to just her. I find her to be a huge attention whore, honestly. Very self-centered. That's all she wants.
And this ties directly to Spider-Man 2, which is a game that they directly worked on. And it's not even her, but inserting the writer as a Mary Jane self-insert, making Mary Jane super strong and literally looking like her and not the original actress that it was based off of. So, yeah, these people are just completely insane and delusional. And it's just, you got to vote with your wallet with these people. It's incredible.
Yeah. Listen, I'm sure Blab's gonna agree with that. I need a video game character that needs to deal with the hardships that come with being overly attractive, charismatic,
Good point.
and athletic, so I can see myself in a video game character.
I will pre-order the Dan Vask video game. What's the pre-order bonus? Do I get a Dan Vask body pillow? I love it.
Body pillow, yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
I love the idea of Dan Vask making a game. It's where Dan starts out ugly and he slowly gets more handsome throughout the game by accomplishing goals.
That sounds like Shrek.
And then life gets harder.
Shrek too.
Right. Then life gets harder.
Things get harder, and people like the stalkers start to get in my way, and I need to overcome that.
All right, now
be like Katamari. You roll up all the stalkers as you get more handsome.
Okay, we got a lot of super chats and a lot of donations, and I'm going to get to those in just a little bit. But so thank you guys very much for those. We'll get to those once we kind of wrap up talking about this because there's still more here to go. So thank you guys very much. But let's move on to as they talk about their company and the growth of their company. And wouldn't you know it, 2020 was a big year for them. Let's go learn about this here. This is important.
2019, I put this presentation together.
Oh, that's the previous one. Let's go here. Let's see where are we at? 2020 and 2020 being a defining year. Let's pull you up. Let's make sure we're good.
Early 2020, which unfortunately brought us to the year we all remember. But 2020, I think, was a defining year for us in a lot of ways. And it is partially, I believe, or I can assert, because of everything that was going wrong and going right, I think, at the time. Like the pandemic was going strong in 2020, and there's a confluence between that and Me Too accusations and outings happening throughout the games industry, if folks remember that. And then also there was the Black Lives Matter and the marches that were taking place as a part of that and the protests. And I think the confluence of those things created a space where I think people were really not sure what to do. It was a reality that now everyone was looking at, that like, hey, things aren't working. We're not treating people fairly. How do we do that? And how do we make games better? And what I started to see was a lot of different people, to their credit, taking a stand, right? We saw a lot of people saying, okay, we're going to get rid of a lot of the called out Me Too folks who now often have found other jobs. We had a lot of people who were saying, hey, we're going to give portfolio reviews to Black writers. We really want to do that. And we also had, places going, okay, we're going to put this fund here, even if they don't necessarily have a plan for it.
Allow me to back up here, and let me kind of fill in the blanks of what she said she saw in 2020. She saw opportunity. She saw dollar signs for her business to grow. Mm-hmm. That's what she saw. She saw, holy shit, this is a gold mine that we're about to step on. So we can grow from 3 employees to 16 employees, which they have. They have 16 employees now. And like I said, I think all this is, look, if you feel diversity is important and as you said, representation is a form of innovation, please show me how. Like, that is the most low-hanging fruit you can possibly have. Like, the idea that just by swapping a male for a female, or a white guy for a black guy, or an Asian woman for a black man, or whatever, that's somehow innovation, is the most bullshit narrative I've ever heard in my life. That's not innovation in video games. That's not innovation in storytelling. What about that person is unique? It's not that, like, if you being white or you being Asian or you being trans or you being black is your defining purpose, you're fucking boring. You're fucking boring. What about the character makes them unique? What about that character makes them relatable to people outside of their skin color, right? Which is, I think, the most amazing thing about this company. It's all built around being a victim. The entire company is built around a victim narrative. It's insane to me.
It's a form of sociopathy because it's you're incapable of seeing yourself in another human being unless they present the superficial characteristics that you see in the mirror. You're incapable of seeing yourself in someone that has a different race than you, someone that has a different sexuality or whatever. It's a form of block that a person has from relating to other human beings just because they're human. No, they also need to be from my race. They have to have my disabilities. They have to have my sexuality.
And no consultation on the fans on this, of these pre-existing franchises. Nothing on that. It's just about me. How do I insert myself? Even if I'm erasing pre-established characters, how do I make this about me? Like you guys said, my disabilities, my race, which is just absolutely insane. I also love in that clip how she talks about how, all these companies saw a great opportunity with Me Too, BLM, all this stuff going on. And it's like, no, you're actually taking advantage of their fear. It's their fear and laziness where they're seeing all this stuff, these out-of-touch publishers, and they're like, well, everyone's screaming and crying about this. We need to put more stuff into this, but we don't know anything about this. And then here comes this company being like, hi, we'll do it for you. We'll make sure that no one screams and cries about your game. Just give it to us. Just give it to us. And so, yeah, like you said, it's all about making money off of victimhood nonstop.
All right, but it continues because they finish up their presentation. The original host comes back in, and I don't know who Jay Powell is. He has his own company or whatever, but they open up questions to the audience. And when I say the audience, I mean the singular person watching, because when you look at the chat replay, there was literally one question, right? There's one question asked of them. And I think it's important
Someone's mom.
It's important. Yes, it was probably somebody's mom asking. But I think it's important to hear that question, but also keep in mind some of the reasons. I want to go back to the original early version of their presentation where they talk about some of the things that were wrong in the gaming space. Pressure. They talk about development hell. They talk about specifically the pressure cooker of being in video game development, having to deal with deadlines, right? The idea that, well, this, that's the one thing you hear about all the time in the video game space is crunch. There's crunch on game development. And you gotta work 60, 70, 80-hour weeks to get your shit done, right? Okay, well, let's go to this question that is asked of them by this one singular person watching.
I'm still firmly convinced that us as the neurodiverse people are in the vast majority in this industry.
Okay, so the person asked about, hold on, damn it. Maybe this is it. I want to make sure I get this. Oh, here it is. Here.
By the way, check the ratio. I hadn't seen that.
Oh yeah, the ratio is deep on this one for sure. Okay, well the person asked about being neurodivergent, and they said in particular that this is it's something that they think about consistently. And the host comes back once again. I'll just go from there. This is where the host comes back and talks about being neurodivergent.
It's that us as
Specificity of that neurodiversity.
I'm still firmly convinced that us as the neurodiverse people are in the vast majority in this industry. And it's the people that don't have these issues are the ones that I worry about.
The ones they're also conveniently too often making the production plans, and I'm like, wait a second, no, we could work differently.
Okay, so you may be asking yourself, what does it mean to be neurodivergent? Well, I've gone to clevelandclinic.org, okay, and to find out exactly what neurodivergent means. Neurodivergent is a non-medical term that describes people whose brains develop or work differently for some reason. The very scientific for some reason. This means the person has different strengths and struggles from people whose brains develop or work more typically. What the shit does this mean?
I know what that means, Craig. It means you want to be special and you go to the doctor, hey, I bet I'm special somehow. I bet I'm autistic. And then the doctor says, no, you're not autistic. You're just sad and depressed and pathetic. And then the person said, okay, so I'm not clinically autistic, but I feel different. So I'm going to name it something else. I'm neurodivergent.
Literally means nothing. It is a non-medical term. And once again, I want to point out, she said, well,
it means you want to be special and you couldn't find anything else.
So she's focusing on a non-medical term to create this whole company on.
Yeah, that's the whole company. The whole company. Neurodivergent, broad, vague, all-encompassing. Then earlier in the presentation, they're saying racism, misogyny, all this stuff without actually naming any examples or anything. Broad, vague. And then, so they're just doing these all-encompassing terms nonstop just to catch all and take over everything.
But it's really important, though. You have to hear the way that they speak about this. Once again, listen to what she says here.
Diverse people are in the vast majority in this industry. And
okay, so he says, we're the majority here, the neurodiverse. Once again, what the fuck does that mean? He probably has no idea what it fucking means. It just means you think differently. Well, congratulations, you're creative. Yeah, it's a fucking buzzword, you asshat. Let's continue. But listen, once again, what she says is so telling here.
It's the people that don't have these issues are the ones that I worry about.
The ones they're also conveniently too often making the production plans, and I'm like, wait a second, no, we could work differently.
So she blames the people who, according to the Cleveland Clinic, are the ones who think normally for making the production plans, and she's pointing the finger at them, saying, no. That's we need to work differently. Okay, once again, continuing here.
God damn you, sane people!
Yeah.
8 hours of work done.
And this is awesome. This is so good. So listen to what he says.
Too often making the production plans, and I'm like, wait a second, no, we could work differently.
We don't do plans.
Yeah, exactly.
We procrastinate and then get 8 hours of work done in an hour, 30 minutes before it's finalized. Yes, that's how we work things.
Well, actually, that's a good point. Because one of the reasons that we in terms of payment, we work on retainers. We do like a monthly rate, and it's specifically because I know that there's going to be days where I have a script to write, and it should take me a week, and I do it in 1 hour. But then there's also going to be scripts that should take me 1 hour, and I do it in a week. But as long as it gets done by the deadline, that's what matters. So kind of baking in that flexibility and not holding people down to like a certain number of hours that they have to self-report has been hugely, I think, freeing for us as a team, especially one who have different work methodologies.
Oh my God! Do you see what this is happening? You do know what's happening here, Craig?
Yes.
This is being used as a justification. Hey, don't give me deadlines. Don't yell at me. Don't expect much of me because I'm neurodivergent.
Right. And keeping in mind that they do have deadlines, and they just said, hey, sometimes there's things that I need to know that I need to know that I do over a week, and then I rush and get it done in 30 minutes. And it's like, so you mean that there's crunch? Just like the thing that you're complaining about, and the crunch is put on by who? You, because you didn't take responsibility and you didn't do your job for a week leading up to it, which means it took 30 fucking minutes to do it at the end of the day, and that's why you're stressed. Congratulations, I solved your mental issue. You dumb fucks. Sorry.
These people should all be fired. They're useless. This is just like the Bungie employee who's like, oh, I know, I talked about Swifty all the time. I didn't actually get my shit done.
But like, why would you admit to that? Why would you admit, oh yeah, I can actually do this job in an hour. I just wait the entire month. Now people are going to watch this and are hiring this company being like, why am I paying you for a whole month when you do this in like 2 hours?
Because I'm neurodivergent.
Yeah, you can't blame her, Kay. She's quirky.
Yeah.
How do you get away with this? How do you go to human resources and say, I am neurodivergent, I need exceptions? Because
the neuro resources lady is also neurodivergent.
That's the thing, is they made their own clique. They made their own clique, their own club, their own company. And this is why they're so afraid of people noticing it, because they don't hold each other accountable. They're all a friends group that are pretty much taking over the industry. The only way really to go after them is to let publishers and devs know that it's like, we don't want their writing. Stop. She said, I write scripts. We don't want their scripts. Eliminate that from the whole industry. Hire your own writers that are actually passionate about the work.
But these people keep complaining about all this shit happening to them. If you're getting to a point where you keep hiring people that are like-minded to you and you're still having these problems, where are they coming from?
Yeah.
How is the industry still infested with these people that are making your life difficult and you feel like you're getting abused in the industry and all this stuff if you're constantly hiring like-minded people?
Am I the problem? No, the racists are to blame.
That's the Marxist game.
So that's where their presentation ends. And I'm sorry, I got riled up there in a major way, but these people just drive me crazy because she said, like, the first thing she said was she threw down a victim card as a black woman in the gaming industry. That was her first sentence.
Yeah.
It was hard. And she said, it was hard because I suffered, blah, blah. I had this happening. Yeah. Give me specific, once again, specific. Look, if someone is racist to you, fucking fire them. But give me an example, right? Give me examples. If someone said, you can't do this because you're a woman, yeah, you're right. Fucking fire them. Get them out of there, right? I 100% agree that if somebody was in there and being discriminatory towards you or telling you can't do something because you're this race, sex, creed, whatever, man, fucking fire them. Get them out of there. I could care less, right? Because you shouldn't have that in the workplace. But with that said, you don't start going in to an industry with a victim complex. And if you are going to say something happened, you need to provide examples. Provide specific examples. Guess what? Life is hard, right? But we're all hiding behind these fucking ridiculous words like neurodivergent, which means literally nothing, which when defined is just a bunch of gobbledygook. It means nothing. Nothing. And that is such a perfect metaphor for what is wrong with society today. I mean, I don't even know. And thus ultimately is leaking into the gaming space. I don't know. Yep. Sorry, I'm fired up about this shit.
No, Craig, I'm so happy that you're bringing more attention to this and addressing this. Because, yeah, like I said at the start, this should be the biggest news in gaming. If guys in the chat, if you don't want to see this stuff, hey, if you want to see this stuff, that's fine. But if you don't want to see this stuff yet, make your voices known. Let people know online, like I did, and I got blocked for it. Just saying I'm bookmarking their website just to know what games not to play. Blocked. People like my tweet. Blocked. So they are afraid of people noticing them. They want to have their little in club and like a parasite slowly take over the entire entertainment industry, at least in gaming. But we're seeing this everywhere. I'm sure there's plenty more sweet babies out there. So vote with your wallets if you don't like it. Sorry?
They only work with games, right?
This company specifically, yeah. At least
Well,
for now. Oh no,
they
it's
work
Magic
with
the
Wizards
Gathering.
of the Coast. So,
yeah, Magic.
yeah.
So you saw how Lord of the
Oh.
Rings, they had the whole set where Aragorn was suddenly black out of
Oh,
nowhere.
that's why Magic the Gathering was
Yeah.
that Lord of the Rings set was fucking gay.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that one ring can change your race around. I don't know. It's magic. But
One ring to race swap them all.
I'm sure if you're a company that you're like, hey, we don't do gaming, but we do like nerdy entertainment or something, they'll be like, we'll write it for you. Screw it. They've already done Wizards of the Coast, which is huge.
We'll gayify it for you.
I just think it's important. It's important that when we look at stuff like this is them saying it. This is them, and they said, well, there's way more neurodivergent people in the gaming space, and she's like, oh yeah, absolutely, right? Like, so you're telling me that creative people are seen as people who think differently than the way the brain typically works, right? Like, well, yeah, creative people generally are pretty different in the way they think, but now we have a label on them. And by the way, if anybody comes after me, fuck you. I'm neurodivergent, all right?
Yeah.
Hell
Come
yeah.
at me,
We're all
And
neurodivergent.
Are you neurodivergent phobic?
How fucking dare you?
Yeah.
How fucking dare you come after me, you neurodivergent phobic person, asshole?
I found Kim on X.
Good.
The woman.
Oh, well,
Found
that's
her
good. What? And okay, I don't want to pull her up or anything like that, but what does her
No,
timeline
so-
look like?
Let's put it this way. She's got pronouns in her bio right away.
I noticed that.
Oh, that is the leper sign, the leper bell announcing a very intelligent person.
I noticed that by the way, if you're neurodivergent, please put it in the chat and let us know. And
How we can help you.
Dude, let us all be neurodivergent, man.
Let's all be neurodivergent together.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is she's speaking on your guys' behalf. So all you fans of video games that are in the chat and everything, she's saying like, oh, if you're neurodivergent just like me, I'm speaking on your behalf. We're going to change games for you. She doesn't speak for me. I've been playing games my whole freaking life, and I don't want her anywhere near the industry that I've grown up loving and, you know, just being all around. So no, I'm absolutely sick of this. And so I think it's time to speak out. And I'm thank you, Craig, and Blabs for bringing this to everyone's attention. Along with us. So yeah, everyone's got to be talking about this.
Sometimes I bite my nails. I must be neurodivergent.
Yeah.
Oh, Craig, you muted.
I was just telling Dan, no, he's mute. He has mental issues. That fuckface. Yeah.
That's what. Yes.
All right. Look, we have more news to cover, and I got one or two more news stories before we go. But I want to make sure we hit these super chats because you guys were very passionate about this, and I appreciate it. And your super chats are massive, and they support the show, and they allow us to call out this bullshit. So thank you very much. Blake came in and says, my computer locked up on me after playing Dan's Danger Zone cover on repeat. Too many logins attempts.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
I'm sorry.
Molly's mom came in and says, Dan, your art keeps astonishing me more and more over time, all the time. And Victor as well. The latest song, unbelievable.
Thank you, Molly's mom. Thank you.
Unbelievable. Whacken came in and says, I have a really important question. If a woman has more balls in her pants than some men, is she also considered trans? These are all great questions that I don't have the answer to. But all I know is that I'm neurodivergent.
Yeah, me too. We're all neurodivergent.
I don't have
here.
the answer.
We're all neurodivergent together.
Yeah.
We should make that emote. Just says neurodivergent. We just spam the chat.
Yes.
There's a new T-shirt, right?
Yeah. New merch. Neurodivergent.
John says, not a fan of them, but their barbecue sauce, though. That's right. You're talking about Sweet Baby barbecue sauce? Yeah. That's a separate brand.
Sweet Baby Ray's or something?
The word divergency means you're diverting, like you're going on a different path. You're special, you're different. If everybody goes to that different path, doesn't that mean that now you're normal?
Hey,
exactly,
yeah, right, the new normal. Mr. X points out that I can't pronounce... Excuse me. Jesus, Louise.
Oh, Craig.
I'm
such a neurodivergent.
I'm a power sneezer, man. I didn't want to sneeze in the mic.
It's because
he's
neurodivergent.
A tornado.
You have a neurodivergent sneeze.
Right. I can't pronounce Jan. Is it Jan Yandere?
Hey, you're a
John
winner.
Derry.
There you go.
Yandere, he's neurodivergent. Well, welcome to the club. Let's go. We're all in
Welcome.
it. Jeremy says, this is for my husband and waifu. Hey, there you go.
Oh,
Jeremy.
yes. I'm announcing I'm marrying Dermy, and we're now neurodivergent together.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
Lover of Green says, reply sweet baby talk. We'll be sharing this groundbreaking info with G&G and the FNT crews. This could be huge, if not only normies, but also the fellowship's influence over the culture war. Lover of Green, please do let them know. Have them make clips of this show. Like, let them talk about what we're talking about here. This is important stuff.
Hey, how about we come out with a new sexuality? People like neurodivergent sexual. People
Love it.
Who only date neurodivergent people.
Sounds great.
Basically sounds like you're just going to date on the spectrum.
Spoonerdirk says, the fact Forspoken was chosen for what is FSR3 over Resident Evil 4 remake is proof positive that AMD had zero brain cells despite making a very good CPUs and the best dollar to performance GPUs.
I think it's the upscale technology that AMD uses that is equivalent to DLSS.
You just said a bunch of letters. I don't understand.
They used Forspoken to pretty much be a tech demo to show, like, you know how sometimes games will be like, this is the next step in gaming right here, and look how mind-blowing this is. So they chose it for Forspoken, which I'm only assuming Sweet Baby had a huge hand in based on their ties with Squeenix. And if you know anything about Forspoken, it was a total shit show, and it was right in line with everything we've seen from this company. The writing is insufferable in that game.
And if you have no idea what we're talking about, it's because you're neurodivergent.
Yes. That's right. Yes. Jeremy says that's why I only play old Pokemon. There you
Let's
go. Jeremy.
Go.
24 hours.
Matthew says, when companies use this consulting firm and their games come out and it's trash, doesn't that word spread to the other companies and say, hey, don't use these guys, they're trash and we lost money? Well, the problem is, Matthew, is that
they're not losing money.
They're not losing money. Spider-Man 2 didn't lose money. Alan Wake 2 didn't lose money. They're not losing money. Now, I can't speak for the smaller indie titles that they're working on, but Spider-Man 2 is the one that was the fastest growing PlayStation release ever. So it's crazy.
Why do you think they block me on Twitter for pointing this out? Why do you think they block people that just like my tweet? This is what they're afraid of. They want to appeal to the big companies, but anyone that goes like, I actually don't like this, I don't want this in my Spider-Man, they want to get rid of that and make it all squeaky clean so they look like they're Mr. Popular when they're actually not. Nobody wants them. So yeah, that's why it's super important to keep talking about this.
Spoonerdirk says, I'm a trans woman, but nothing insults me more than a virtue signal from a AAA company. If I want a trans character in a game, I'll play Undertale, Deltarune, Celeste, etc. They know how to write us. Do it. Yeah, like I said, to each their own. I could care less. Like I said, like, I don't care how people live. I've said this a million times. I could care less. Just don't tell me how I should live. That's it.
But that's a great point as well, because like Undertale is like wildly successful and that was written with passion. So even if you don't like the writing, at least it was written like it was made how they wanted it made. They didn't outsource it to another company to be like, write this for us.
Right?
I think so. Yeah. Kay, you played Undertale, right? And
I played like 5 minutes, but it's a great game.
Never mind. But like my point is, if you want to put that stuff in a game, fine, as long as you're actually wanting to do it and you hire a passionate writer that wants to do that.
Yeah, you're not doing it to pander. You're doing
these
it
people are
because you want
outsourcing anything.
It comes to a point when the very people you're trying to pander to find you annoying.
Exactly.
Right. Oh, yeah, that appears to be the case.
Yeah.
Lols It's Forge says, just remember that Life is Strange is technically Square Enix, so likely would have been on that list. Not to say that it won't come to Japan. Japan? But it's different writers.
This is what I was going to bring up earlier,
We don't know when
too.
it started, right?
Yeah.
We don't know when they started to work with Square Enix, or do we have that information?
No, this is what you're going to mention, right, Kay?
Yeah, because wouldn't it be like, no, I was going to say like Avengers and stuff like that. Like, aren't there certain games that are like one of the Tomb Raiders was Square Enix as well?
Avengers was Square Enix.
The Western ones that were affected. I don't think it's the Japanese ones yet, but we have no proof of what games. They had their LinkedIn more public before, and you were able to actually see a bigger breakdown of what games they were, but they've since locked that down. So
Yeah, but when we were able to see the LinkedIn, you saw that their reach was going all the way back to 2014. So Sweet Baby's only been around since 2018, but they worked, one of them did work on Life is Strange, which if you know Life is Strange, that's kind of one of the original games that was like, oh my God, this is insufferable writing.
And one of the old Far Cries as well, I think like Far Cry 4 or something.
Far Cry 4, which, yeah.
I sent Blabs and Craig a screenshot in the beginning of that video. They also had like, this is what we worked on before we started our studio. Here's like our history. So maybe we can find some of those titles there too.
All right. Yeah, we can absolutely do that. Give it up for Shieldy coming in as a brand new member. Thank you so much, Shieldy. Great. That's awesome. Nerdy Neo came in with the member for 7 months. As a parent of an autistic child, them calling themselves neurodivergent is insulting to those who are actually neurodivergent. Right.
100% Neo. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's amazing how that works out. Blake says, put a diverse chick in it and make her gay.
Make her lame and gay.
I got a couple of Rumble rants. Cryptic for $5 says, way to go, Canada. Keep your talking detached headed disease to yourself. That explains a lot, but sounds about right.
Canadian out of all places, right?
We are the source of everyone's problems.
Yeah.
I'm a self-hating leaf. I understand.
Yeah.
Dude for $20 came in, says, James, drink.
It's like 10 in the morning, dude. He'll sometimes
caught
tip
up.
and be like, drink alcohol. I'll drink Skittles energy drink for you, buddy. Cheers.
Let's go get on that Skittles.
Skittles? What?
Jeremy came in with the 2, says Melee Jason. There you go.
Mel Jason.
Jason.
Dermy could not
Mel.
get my name right, and he called me Jason like 20 times. So I'm like, Dermy, for you, my name's Jason now. I'm fine. So we're Mel Jason.
Love it. Kyle came in with the $4.99, says things like sports leagues and video game hardware makers are hard to create an alternative to, but comics, music, etc. can be replaced. I definitely.
Hey, who knows? Who knows? We were saying that about social media like a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And now we have X.
Hey, give it up for Fresh Pony coming in with the $25 direct donation. Says, hail chat, Craig Blaz, Melee Games, and Dan Bass. Dan, epic cover of the number of the beast. Hope everyone is having a great day today. Fresh Pony, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And excuse Craig's reading because it's neurodivergent.
Yes, I have
Autisms.
major issues.
How autistic are they?
Abdulio came in with the 2. That's right. How neurodivergent are they? Abdulio says Japan has been slowly getting infiltrated, usually through localizers inserting modern virtues where they don't exist in their media, as well as going straight to the source to change things within Japan itself. Square has been infected a long time. Followed up with Sony as an example. Sony of America basically took over Sony. They ended all their Japanese IPs and are mostly doing stuff like God of War and Last of Us. As for Square, the most recent example is Final Fantasy VII Remake. All the changes done in there. Thank you very much.
All games that this company worked on. They did God of War Ragnarok. They did Square Enix titles. So you're again, it's all funneling back into them.
But right. Sony literally became a Western company. Their main office is not in Japan anymore. Their main office is in America.
Abdulio followed up and says, I recommend Dimitri Monore. Blaz, go write this down if I can get it out. Dimitri Monore, Monore. He's a YouTuber who is very knowledgeable about this infiltration happening in Japan and Japanese media and has been covering it for a while and needs more attention as it's been going unnoticed by a lot of fans in Japanese media. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And Sal came in at the 2, says, gamers blamed Anita Sarkeesian for the current state of gaming. It wasn't the case to begin with. The AAA games industry has always had this, quote, progressive value. They used her as a scapegoat to push the propaganda. And
she was kind of the first like public figure to really go after it. Like, so we dealt with Jack Thompson and all that stuff and video game violence bad, but Anita was kind of the one that was like, let's change video games. Let's make them more progressive, more diverse. And that was publicly speaking it. But video games like in the 90s and everything in the West were like super freaking cool. Look at Doom, look at Quake, look at all these old titles. It was a bunch of really intelligent guys all getting together and being like, let's make some badass games because we're smart as all hell. Get in our garage and we're going to make the games we want to see. They didn't care about pushing an agenda or anything. They just made what they wanted and it was freaking badass. And now slowly you've had this infestation of people that are like, actually, we're going to change this and we're going to tell you you're wrong. And here's why.
Britzel Art came in with the 5. Says, sometimes I wish the 90s but were back. Super Mario Brothers on the Game Boy without that much manipulation. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's simpler times for sure. And Spooner Dirk also came in as a member. Thank you very much, Spooner Dirk. Really appreciate that. That's outstanding. And 1X at Bandcamp came in with the 5. Says, I thought this woke crap would die out because no one would hire these people. I never considered they make their own companies and hire each other. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's Craig, you're a wrestling fan. This is the Click. This is Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash. This is the equivalent of like, we're going to take over and only hire each other.
Mm-hmm. It's actually a pretty good analogy. All right, let's go with one more quick story here. As Rusted Gold has come in with a Prime sub for 11 months over on Twitch. Thank you so much, Rusted Gold. That's outstanding. And I'm sorry, we need to stop before we go into this final story. As Shamsa,
oh no,
just dropped she dropped a $500 direct donation. Shamsa.
That's amazing.
$500.
I can buy a house with that in Brazil.
Should I be drinking this?
Yes.
I think so. It's pickle time.
Pickle. Let's go. Kay's about to go hard.
I feel like
I
I'm
wish
gonna
I
have
had
to get
Adam's
a cup
music.
for that. Give me a second. You guys keep talking.
Okay, sounds good. Listen, Shamsa, let's go. Put it in the chat. Let's go. $500. That's the purple right
Shamsa,
there.
Look at it!
amazing. Oh
Right
my
next to
God.
Mary Jane. Let's go. Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
Unreal.
The pickle destroyer coming in here.
That's
I
awesome.
love how she always has to ask me if there's some type of bet going on.
This is the most neurodivergent thing I've ever seen. This is
What, drinking a cup of pickle juice?
Like-
this is like Chris Chan with orange Fanta.
All the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Get it all.
No!
I'm a tiny person. Give me a minute. That's for you, Shamsa. And
Thank
for
you,
pickle
Shamsa.
pickle.
I'm gagging.
That's nasty.
That was good. That was a spicy pickle, by the way. Woo!
Wow.
You realize how many
spicy
memes you
Is
just
there a
opened
pickle
yourself up?
in there, or is it just juice?
All the juices.
That
All
was
those
good.
pickly juices.
Yummy!
She said there was a pickle in there, but it tastes like cardboard, so she's going with just the
Yeah,
juice.
they're like those cheap pickles. They're not the good ones.
So you just buy it just for the juice, huh?
You realize how many open bags of pickles I have in my fridge? Because she just drinks the juice and leaves the pickles in there. I have
What
a
are you gonna
pickly
do
fridge.
with them if you're not gonna eat them?
They start transforming into the Flood from Halo, and then I have to go fight them and throw them out. It's a whole thing.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Hey, and Spooner came in with the 5, says, last donor for the stream. Been a huge fan of you since your top 10 manly men in gaming. Let's go. Hey, thank you very much. Manly. Yes. Which, by the way, a list that would be skewered today for being toxic. Because we can't have manly men. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Shamsa, thank you very much. Amazing help from everybody today. Spectacular. Let's finish up with some fun news stories. So, did you guys see The Flash? Did you see the movie The Flash when it came out a little bit ago?
I did.
What did you think of it?
I actually didn't mind it too much. And I know where you're going with this. I've watched a whole documentary on this, but I actually kind of liked it. It was a little bit of a mess, but I'm in the Ezra Miller cult, so I actually went to Hawaii and I pledged allegiance to Ezra Miller. We did a whole thing.
Sorry.
Okay.
No! Oh, God. But yeah, it wasn't as terrible as people assumed it was going to be. I understand not watching it because Ezra Miller is a freaking lunatic. I get it. But yeah, it was not bad. I even got a collector's cup. I got a little collector's cup from it. So yeah.
Okay, so you saw it. Now,
Yeah.
and we didn't really ask for a full review.
That was very neurodivergent.
That was a very long yes.
I am a neurodivergent man.
That was a very neurodivergent.
Okay, so
Yes.
there was a big cameo that was kept secret at the very tail end of it. Spoiler: the movie's been out. I think it's going to DVD or whatever.
I
It's
know
going
what you're
on
gonna
demand.
say. Yeah.
Where Nicolas Cage was at the very tail end of it, apparently, and he is Superman in it, which was a very deep cut. Where Nicolas Cage, I think in the early 2000s, maybe the late 90s, was
Late
set
90s,
to
yeah.
play Superman. and then the movie got cut. I think it was a Tim Burton Superman film. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
So what's interesting though is that what you saw as Nicolas Cage playing Superman in that is not what Nicolas Cage went and shot at the film when he was filming. So he says, I did not do that in the film.
It's AI.
Oh,
let's get to this.
Stand-in.
So the giant spider apparently wasn't part of the plan. So so he says, when I went to the picture, it was me fighting a giant spider. I did not do that. That's not what I did. Now the scene in question appears to be near the end of the Flash. There's a big old battle, and he looks over to see the multiverse and Nicolas Cage cameo as a glimpse at one of those worlds, and as a callback to the Tim Burton superhero movie, Superman movie that was never made, where he was supposed to play Superman. So although the cameo was very CGI in its appearance, it nevertheless shot in person with Cage appearing on set adorned in these Superman costumes. I don't think it was created by AI, he said. I know Tim Burton is upset about AI, as am I. It was CGI. Okay, so they could de-age me, and I'm fighting a spider. I didn't do any of that, so I don't know what happened there. But I get where Tim's coming from. I know what he means. I would be very unhappy if people were taking my art and appropriating them. I get it. I mean, I'm huge. I'm with him in that regard. AI is a nightmare to me. It's inhumane. You can't get more inhumane than artificial intelligence. It says, but I don't think that it was AI in the Flash. I just think that they did something with it. And again, it's out of my control. I literally went to shoot my scene for maybe an hour in the suit, looking at the destruction of the universe and trying to convey the feelings of loss and sadness and terror in my eyes. That's all I did. So he went in there and shot something, and it came out with him apparently fighting a giant spider.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think this is kind of a crazy ass story because while it may not have been AI, it is CGI, which obviously AI is it's totally different than the two. But at the same time, is it that different? Because you're manipulating something. You put him doing something that he didn't film at all.
Yeah, one's completely standing still, just using a whole bunch of emotion in his face, and the other one's actually physical movement. That's a huge difference.
This has been the problem with DC and how they've been making movies all along. They're always panicking and trying to catch up to Marvel. In fact, even the very ending of Flash was changed at the last second because James Gunn didn't want these characters to be included in future movies. So he was like, no, let's quickly reshoot and let's add stuff. I know exactly why they added the spider fight, and it's because of a joke cameo. Pretty much, I highly recommend anyone watches the documentary The Death of Superman Lives. It's like a 2-hour doc on the Nicolas Cage Superman film. It's awesome. But if anyone's seen Wild Wild West here, you remember how in the end they fight a giant spider? Pretty much the producer of that would-be Superman film, he had a kid at the time that just loved spiders, and any movie he would work on, he was like, you have to have a spider in it. You have to have a spider in it. And I think he still works at this production company. And so Nicolas Cage fighting the spider is a nod to the fact that in the original movie, he was going to fight a giant spider, but that got pushed into Wild Wild West once the movie was canceled. So it's just constant changes going on at DC, and like they will use AI and CGI and anything to be like, last minute, let's change the script entirely. Screw it.
I think that it's, for me, the bigger question is if you're an actor and you go in and you shoot something and the end result is something totally different, are you okay with that? It sounds like Nic Cage is okay with that, but also at the same time, that seems very odd. It seems like you're dealing with a very slippery slope where
he seems perplexed. He's like, what?
Right.
Nicolas Cage is a cool, laid-back guy, and he pointed out that Tim Burton had a problem with that, and so Tim Burton actually did come out and say, screw this film, but Tim Burton, I love him. He's very art-focused, and so he was going to be the director of Superman Lives. So just seeing his would-be movie that he poured years of his life into get turned into a joke cameo in The Flash is killing him. And so not only for an actor's standpoint, but even a writer and a director's standpoint, it's like you're kind of using all this stuff that you just destroyed my life over for a few years, and now it's just a joke to you in your new film, and I don't get credit or royalties or anything.
It's I don't know. It's just interesting to me to think of this slippery slope attached to that, but Anyways, all right, let's go continue on and move on to one last story here. Okay, and this was posted yesterday. This was posted the first of the month, Wednesday, November 1st, by our friends over at Twitch, which we are now past the spooky season. It is no longer Halloween time, but they felt the need to scare the shit out of us with this Twitter post as they posted Bitchin' Pudding giving us, it says, her top 5 horror games. Now, keeping in mind that Bitchin' Puddings is a man dressed in drag to give us their horror games, right? Said, I don't care if you're an adult. If you want to do whatever the fuck you want to do as an adult, do it, right? But that doesn't mean I can't point and laugh at how stupid.
Yes, exactly.
Right? So this dude over here with his big old fake tits has this wonderful mustache. And by the way, deep voice.
Top 5 horror games. This is the month of October.
Damn. Top 5.
As women, do you feel like they're more or less just wearing a costume and like almost mocking you?
100%. Yeah. Look at their makeup. Look at their face.
Woman face.
Yeah.
Like blackface, but woman face.
Yeah, honestly, it is. And like those are fake boobs and everything. Like,
Blabs, would you rock that thick mustache? You think you could pull that off?
you think I should try?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
gotta-
you need the mustache.
Kate, what are your
Don't shave
thoughts
for
on this?
3 days.
I don't really care too much, but also like, yeah, I agree at the same time.
Okay. So I don't want to really watch the whole thing, but I do want to point out that this is built to be the top 5 horror games, right? And this is the last frame. This is the last thing you see here. Is
Oh God!
Like pretty
Dun,
fucking
dun,
terrifying,
dun.
right?
I think we should all try to redo that face.
Now, no. And I would like to keep in mind that Twitch is a platform that is 13 and up, right? But when you go to Bitchin' Pudding's Twitter account and you scroll down and you look at all the fun things that they've retweeted and liked over the last few days, very specifically after being featured on Twitch, that you'll find this wonderful Twitter post says, "Y'all, this is Queen. Give FGC Phantom Mariah a follow. Look at her throne." And Phantom Mariah over here says, "I found the perfect gaming chair to fix all my back problems. Thank you so much for donating to my new chair goal on the stream."
Oh
No, no.
Why? Get that shit out of
No.
here. What the fuck, man?
That's what Dan has.
Neurodivergence
Yeah, it's
over here.
being a bit uncomfortable.
That triggered my neurodivergence.
This reminds me of one of my favorite former games, Dead by Daylight, and they did the exact same thing Twitch is doing, where they brought in a bunch of drag queens to promote and live stream, and they blocked me because Dead by Daylight is a game that's about slasher killers, like from the 80s, so like Jason, Freddy, and all this stuff. And I just made a comment on Twitter being like, the people playing your game are more terrifying than any killer that you actually have in the game. You should add them. And they blocked me for that. And it was like, all right, well, if you're gonna put this stuff up front, don't be hating when I comment on it and make jokes about it.
Dead by Daylight is a very pandering game with all the flags and everywhere you see. Yeah.
Yeah, I've played 500 hours and I do not recommend it.
Well, I'll say this. I said, you post whatever you want on your social media. I don't care. But I do think that it's for Twitch to promote somebody who has a dildo on their chair, like three posts down. Yeah, but let's be real. When was the last time Twitch was seen as a classy organization?
Never, but maybe they could try to have some dignity and some morals. I don't know who would post that besides OnlyFans.
Fuck them groomers. That's what they are.
Fresh Pony came in with a gifted membership. Thank you so much, Fresh Pony. Love that. It's outstanding. And Dan Evil Robot. Dan, thank you very much. Came in with a 5. Says, the Flash movie. I thought it was okay, but yeah, it's a complete mess. Of course, I know Nicolas Cage as Superman wasn't really him. It's CGI. Yeah, I think I've seen the scene, but I just think it's odd that, once again, that he shot something and it came out totally different. That's what.
Without
not
spoiling
him.
anything, the scary part is not Nicolas Cage, who can speak and say I have a problem with this, but they actually have a lot of dead actors that have sadly passed away, and they're bringing them back, and then that's a whole nother conversation because these people can't even say, "Hey, I don't want to be paraded around like a puppet for eternity." And so luckily Nicolas Cage is alive and can be like, whatever. But yeah, that ending is a bit of a mess.
Isn't it sad that you have to sign something while you're alive, or do write a will or something saying, "Hey, don't use my fucking face on a CGI puppet when I'm gone, please."
Yeah, and Bruce Willis has kind of been the start of that because he wants to just make money for his family after he's gone, and he's sadly since retired. But he actually said, like, "I'm okay. Send the money to my family.
Right.
When I'm dead, you can keep using me." So he said, "Go for it. That's fine." But I don't know about using actors that have died.
But yeah, an actor that could not give an opinion about it. It's like, feels like you're puppeting a corpse.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's weird, man.
Like Carrie Fisher.
The first time I saw this was in Rogue One. What is the name of that actor?
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing.
That's it.
Yeah. And I was mixed on that because it was like, I love Grand Moff Tarkin and Peter Cushing, but then it's also like he's been dead for decades. I don't know how I feel about this. It's cool to see the character back, but at the same time, it's like, what do I do with this now? Did you have to?
He looked better than CGI Princess Leia in that movie because she was only like 5 seconds anyway, and they just spliced what she was saying from like A New Hope, where she just puts the word in hope. Like, there it is.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go and roll out of here, and let's we're rolling up on 2 hours, which is our longest show we've done in a long time. But we appreciate obviously Melee Games, you guys hanging out with us today, and encourage everybody to go check you guys out and subscribe to you guys. Where can everybody find you?
You can find Melee Games over on YouTube at Melee Games. You can find us on Twitter at Melee Games, on Twitch, where I won't be sitting in that chair, at Melee Games Plays. So we're all over the internet. We're going to be streaming some Ghostbusters tonight, the Ghostbusters the game, and we have a special giveaway for anyone that wants to tune in for that. So I'm so freaking excited. That's a game you guys should support. There's no garbage in that one. So can't wait to play with you guys, and come find us and hang out with us.
Cool. And Dan, you have a brand new video which people are loving.
Yeah, brand new video, youtube.com/@DanVask. You can find the new video there, and it's been awesome. People are reacting very well to it. And yeah, I'm grateful and excited. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. The Number of the Beast. I released it in Halloween.
Awesome.
Up the irons, Dan.
The descriptions everyone's links are in the descriptions below in case you guys missed them.
Yep. We appreciate you guys popping in, being a part of our day, allowing us to be a part of yours. Thank you so much for making us the one of the fastest growing shows online, which is really, really cool and exciting to hear. So spread the word, let people know, hit the thumbs up button on your way out. And remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got that goal? Go get it. Let's change the fucking world. We'll see you guys later.